Okay. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here with my friend Nancy because Nancy has been honestly one of my favorite humans since we attended yoga therapy school together in 2009, 15 years ago. But Nancy really does incredible things for humans, women now more specifically. But Nancy is a yoga teacher, a yoga therapist. She has started nonprofits to serve all sorts of underserved people. She's even taught in the prisons. She's amazing. Nancy, you're amazing. And she's working on her master's degree right now, which I'm going to ask her to tell a little bit about later. And she also published a book that I think I've mentioned to everybody in my hormone club. But again, it's called Present: The Art of Living Boldly in the Second Half of Life. So now, Nancy, your niche is women in the second half of life, right?
Absolutely. I love women in the second half of life.
Okay, why? Why is this your jam?
Because we are just bursting with potential. And so many of us, have internal stuff that's like saying, oh, I'm not good enough in the second half of life. And then we have a lot of external stuff coming at us that we're not good enough in the second half of life. And none of it is true. And I think that the world needs our wisdom, our capacity to love more than ever. I don't want us to fade away. I want us to step boldly into our place.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So then you have a big group of women here in our second half of life. So what do you think, as an absolute expert on this, who's been doing this for so many decades, what do you think is either holding us back or one of the most important things that we can add to our life or consider if we also want to move forward, feeling our best, feeling empowered, and all of that?
Absolutely. To understand that the internal and external stuff is going on, and then the next step is to 100% take care of our health better than we ever have. This body that's done so much for us for so many years needs a little extra, not tons and tons, just a little extra. And we need to kind of flow with what our body needs, especially I think during the transition time, that you're talking about. And now I'm like 12 years on the other side of that. And like the challenges that happened during that time that kind of felt like, whoa, who am I? Those are gone. I feel great, but I do take better care of myself than I ever have.
So what's one of the tricks then to feeling the best, feeling our best, emerging?
Right. Yes. So it's exercise daily or elevated activity. It is eating a plant-based anti-inflammatory diet that works for you. You've got to like sit and go, is this working? Is this working? That's the kind of stuff they do with you. And then the next part is to take care of your stress level. Because you can eat well, you can exercise, but if your stress level is out of control, and that's going to hang you up. And that's where the practices we learned as yoga therapists and the practices I'm learning, I'm getting my master's in clinical, as a clinical social worker. All the evidence points to mindfulness-based practices, which there are so many of that we can pick and choose, but we need to do them daily. We need to incrementally heal our nervous system, which can be just get really stressed, especially when our body's going through the hormones. And there's no replacing it. There's no replacing it. We might do a lot of other things, but there's no replacing that time to get in the present moment.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're saying this because one of the things I teach is the hierarchy of hormones. And really, you can't impact anything if your cortisol is off, if your nervous system is off. If that's off, it's the biggest bully. And if that one is
Mm.
off, it's going to bully everything else around your blood sugar, your mood, your physical body, everything. So I love that you agreed to talk because it really is, I think, the
Yeah.
biggest thing for sure. So how do you speak into that? How do you help people with that?
Pretty much, sitting with them and finding what practices resonate. We have a theory, it's called the polyvagal theory, and our stress response, like when we're engaged, we feel connected, we're, mostly happy. That's where we all want to hang out. But our stress response can go in two ways. It can go to fight or flight, where we feel that anxiousness, that tension, which it isn't bad to feel that. It's when we feel stuck there. Or it could go another direction into kind of numbing out, feeling depressed. Okay, so those are two nervous system responses that have their place in our life. Like we want to like feel quiet right before we go to bed, right? We don't want to be stuck there when we wake up in the morning. So it's attending to those and learning skills to get us back on track. For instance, mindful movement probably works really well for both of them. Strong exercise might be really good to pull you out of like a heaviness, or strong breathing practices. If you're in that fight or flight, it might be quiet, guided meditations. And so, just like we're learning about, the subtle ways to take care of our body, use our wisdom in that, it's learning the skills that we need to go, oh, here I am, and I need to get back to connection and homeostasis. So this is what I'm going to do. And it's skill building. It's like more in your toolbox.
Right. I love that. And like from what I've learned and what you're saying is like you can get stuck on one side and you actually need to make intentional efforts to get out of it, especially if you've been one of the classic rushing women, rushing around, helping everyone else, doing our jobs, doing our exercise, going, achieving, solving all the
Yeah.
problems of the world. It's like
Yeah.
we need to intentionally break that cycle and reactivate that parasympathetic arm of the nervous system, right? Is that's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're mentioning this. So can you give us a tangible tool we can use? I know it's experimenting and finding what works for
Yeah.
you. And I encourage people to do that. Like I told you, they have a couple of year guided
Yeah.
meditations so that they're playing with over on my platform. But what do you think is, one or two important things to include every day? If it, I don't know if that's a specific practice or just like these elements as part of your
Yeah.
practice.
I think it's that setting that time aside, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we can all find 5 or 10 minutes in the morning to check in while you're drinking your water,
Mm.
right? Because that's super important first thing in the morning. And then to just sit with yourself and check in. Are you in that place that is a good place to start your day from? Are
Mhm.
you waking up frantic? Are you waking up sad? Are you waking up feeling scattered? And then noticing where my body is, what thoughts are in my head. If I'm waking up with a negative thought pattern, I need to redo that and find myself in that. And so for me, it's that sitting quiet with breath, sometimes with music that inspires me just to keep me present, and doing different breathing practices and just seeing if I can kind of melt into right here, right now, all is well, and start my day from there.
Mm, I love that. So what you're saying is first step is tuning into how you actually are feeling, like checking in with yourself every day. Set a time first thing in the morning. Everyone here is drinking their water first thing in the morning. It's the first thing we start with.
That's
So
right.
so that's a great time to just quiet down for a second. How am I feeling today? What's going on? And then two, taking a mindful practice, 5 minutes even, to either do breath work or music or something to actually shift into that parasympathetic arm. Am I hearing that right? Those two parts?
Yes. And to get to know those skills, you have to go through a learning period and a figuring out period.
Mm-hmm.
So that 5 minutes is easy if the skills you have aren't getting you there quick enough, right? There are times where we need a whole weekend retreat to get there,
Yeah.
but we've got to also figure out that 5 minute thing, right?
Yeah, but I think what you just said is really important. And it's like if we actually give ourselves some bigger times of really calming our body down, then like we remember that. And like I sometimes say like fake it if you have to. Like fake, like pretend like you're in that place, the guided imagery. How did I feel there? Like, can I just pretend that I'm back in that space again? And if you do have that bigger time every once in a while,
Yeah.
it's easier to tap back in a 5 minute time period, right?
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely.
Okay, so one check-in, two, those small mindfulnesses, and three, every once in a while, give yourself a little bit longer time to really relax.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I
good
love it.
advice.
Good job, Nancy. You're
Yeah,
brilliant. I told
hey, how'd
you.
you do that? You know, I'm in school right now and I was a mess at the end of the semester. I was just, there wasn't enough time for that 3 month semester to take care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking now a lot of time in the woods, time in the morning, to find myself again. Feeling lost doesn't feel good at all.
No, and we all do, but we need to
Yeah.
take these mindful steps to come back to ourselves and the
Right.
present, which is the name of your book.
Right.
I love it.
Mhm.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for those people that want to find you, I know you have a wonderful website. I love it, nancicandea.com. The link to your book is there, which is a brilliant book. I recommend everyone snuggle up by the fire and have a read. And then tell us you're also graduating. You're going to be working one-on-one with people. Anything you want to add about that?
Well, I'm just excited, working as a yoga therapist, I do work one-on-one with people, but now I can take it to a deeper level and help people with, more of the mental health things that hold us back. So I'm pretty excited when I graduate in May, I can get started on that.
I bet. And wait, what's the degree in again? Tell everyone. A master's in.
It's I'll get my master's in social work, so I'll be a clinical social worker, so a psychotherapist.
I love it. Brilliant, Nancy. You just keep getting
Thank you.
wiser and wiser every time we chat.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much.